a lot of players we competed against for many years, many games, and a good group. Similar scheme to really what they've played for a long time, and much like we say about teams that have been in a scheme that they're comfortable with and been in for a long time can keep some of the same guys together, add a few pieces. Those are the teams that usually play their scheme the best. So it'll be a heck of a challenge. They'll be coming off a bye and division game at home, and it'll be a heck of a challenge.
What makes Von Miller so good at what he does?
Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of his physically, how fast he is off the ball and many things that I'd probably short him if I tried to be too descriptive. But I think to me is just that he's an every down player. I mean, he is just a heck of a defensive football player. He's not just a pass rusher. He plays the run. He plays. He's a smart player. I mean, he sees things and plays things. He's been tried to block and double teamed so many different times. So he's an all-around player that can ruin the game. I mean, we've seen him ruin games before, and that'll be a big challenge for us to make sure do all we can to not allow him to do that this week.
What about your fellow NC State, guy who you barely tell?
Yeah, he's having a heck of a year too. I mean, he's got 8 sacks or something like that, and the thing Von gets a lot of the attention and as he should, but they've always had somebody on the other side. I don't like to call him that other guy, but they've always had somebody, whether it was Ware, who was there with him for a while, and really now with Chubb as a high pick, a heck of a player, and then you look at Ray and Barrett, who I'm sure many teams would love to have them be their every down guys too. So there's 4 really good pass rushers on the outside, and not to mention, some of the guys they have inside that do a nice job as well.
Phil, going back a little bit, you said after the Rams game there was like a play in there where you were telling yourself, you want to take a shot downfield, but you were like, don't do it. Do you remember what happened on that play or what that was like?
I don't know. I can recall a lot of things. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I think just in general, it wasn't so much that play. It was more so, hey, we're down 2 scores. They got to will something to happen. We got to come back and win the game. And it was, let's not do that. It's going to be a 28-point game if you try to get too push things that aren't there. So I think it's more so that thought process. Even last week, gosh, we want to get that thing 17-3, 17-6. We want to get it to 31. But they just didn't give us the opportunities for those chunks, and you just had to again just stay with it, stay within ourselves, and again lean on the defense, who was playing great and has been playing great, and so it was just kind of that back and forth. So I think it's week to week, depending on the situation, kind of how aggressive and how you attack them.
With the Chiefs playing the Rams this week, that's a potential loss. In your mind, are you still hopeful of chasing them down, or are you geared to the wild card? What's your feeling?
It's 1 week at a time. We're worried about the Broncos. I mean, we still got 7 games to go, so it's a long way to go. But in our mind, it's about the Broncos. But also in our mind is we control what happens. I mean, we're not thankfully in the situation we were last year at this point and watching and seeing who needed to do what. We just got to worry about us. We know it's a week-to-week league. It's a division game against a good opponent, and a team that had the Rams right there in a 1-score game at 23-20. To me, I mean, they had the Chiefs beat at home that game that got away from them late. They lose on the last. This is a good team, and you don't have to convince anybody of that in there. We know what it's like when we play the Broncos every time, and we got to make sure we're prepared.
Nick Hardwick said recently, with your life experience and with the age of this team, it seems like you're almost like parenting on the field a little bit. What would you?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I think we have a nice mix. I think there's a nice dynamic. I mean, I do think that there's a lot of game experience that I've had that I can hopefully share and help and be a little bit of that steadiness. I know I play with passion and I get fired up myself, but be a little bit of that steadiness for our group. But we have a lot of other guys too that play a lot of games. You think about some of the guys up front and Pouncey and Russell. I mean, and shoot, obviously Gates and Virgil Green's been in a while now, and you think about Keenan on the outside. I mean, I could go on, but and defensively as well. So I think we just have a nice mix. There's a level of respect I think that we all have for one another, and we all know where we are in our careers in different places. And I think there's just that true, really respect for one another, as best I could say, that we enjoy to work with one another. We know what it takes, and there's a lot of that player-to-player accountability that we keep each other in line week to week, game to game, play to play.
A 6-game winning streak in the NFL is a nice achievement. How happy are you where the team has come to?
Yeah, it's good, and it's been good. It's been a heck of a run. We hadn't won 6 in a row in a while, but it can be a one-game losing streak just like that, you know. So I think it's week to week. I think just resetting every week. Coach Lynn talks about that, just resetting every week, and knowing that we have a new challenge this week. And the teams that I have been on over the years that have continued that streak and won 11 in a row and done those things, we did it. We just reset every week, and we found a way that week to win, however we had to. If it was 31-30, if it was 7-6, if it was ugly or pretty, who cares? Just find a way, and I think this team has developed that maturity, and we've won some close games now this year already, those two. Turns out that Titans win may have been better than everybody thought. And Seattle go up the road up there and win. So we've won some tough games and some tough environments under some tough circumstances as far as being on the road. But again, now we reset and get ready for Broncos on Sunday.
How glad are you guys that road trip is over?
Yeah, no, it'll be real nice not to get on a plane this weekend. It was good. I think it was good for us in a way. We embraced kind of that challenge. We were around each other a bunch, obviously, on that 10-day trip to Cleveland and London. But it'll be good now that I think there's a sense of togetherness that even increased. A little bit of an accomplishment in the sense of you say, hey, we're going to be gone for 4 weeks with a bye in between, and can you win them all? And we did. But again, I think it's that. I think it's good for those things to build some confidence and can add to some energy and to some all that stuff. But then I think it's also understand, each week it's a new task.
Guys in the locker room last year said Nunchepi was really applicable for an 0-4 start. When things are going well, how much do you still emphasize that?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it almost is more important when it's going well. It's making yourself begin again and remind yourself to begin again, because that's when you tend to relax sometimes. So I don't sense that being an issue with this group. But there's no question. It's that reset button. It's that begin again this week, this practice, this Wednesday. Not fall into that trap that we're pretty good now, because we know how quick it can turn, and we got to make sure we stay on it.
How important is that collective buy-in of resetting each week? You hear Coach Lynn talk about it in his post-game victory speeches, and of course you've been through it for 15 seasons. But there's a lot of young guys on this team that seem to have bought in.
Yeah, it's been great. I think it's not even something that I felt like we've had to have a lot of chatter about. It's just you kind of can gauge it, amongst ourselves and see how everybody's working and improving. I think the thing is, you just like when you can lose a handful in a row and have some rough years, that tends to be just the trend. You can't figure out how to get out of it. I think when you win, you've heard it, winning's contagious. I think it is, and then you're hungry for more of it. And I just think we know the road ahead. We know each week in this league how hard it is, and I think we've seen the different ways we've won and how many guys have contributed, that we understand how much the preparation part of it, the process part of it is impacting in how we're getting it done on Sunday. We know we're not just trotting out there and winning games easily. We know how hard it is, and I think guys appreciate that, and so then that makes them even more eager and focused on the new week.
Is hitting that reset button daily and weekly, or what does that look like for you?
Well, it's something I've heard a long time ago when I was a rookie, and then I got to see it with Drew those first 2 years, and then I've been able to live it through 14-2 seasons and 4-8 seasons. That we've come back, and 5-11s. I think it's just a matter of each week, win or lose, play good, play bad. You make those corrections, and whatever you normally do on Wednesday, do it again. So I think that's more it than anything. It's just be where you are. It's just be in the present moment. We got a Wednesday walkthrough. Let's be right there, and not worry about the chatter on the outside or what's to come or who's doing what. And you become so caught up in that routine. You look up and it's week 11. I mean, I feel like it was just the other day we were talking about preseason getting started and how excited we were, and here we are now, more than halfway through the year. So just kind of the boring. Keep your head down and one day at a time.
What does a team look like that is not capable of doing what you say, hitting that reset button?
They look like don't win very much. So I mean, I think it's a challenge, but I think you got to be able to do it. And I shouldn't say you don't win very much. Some teams may hit it and they're not winning. I mean, I felt like we scratched and clawed and fought like crazy during those tough seasons where we had 4 and 5 wins, but we just didn't get it done. But I think you feel it. I think if you got the right veterans mixed with the youth that we have in all the different position groups, guys would know if you need to rein it in a little bit. Again, I think Coach Lynn does a great job of it and his staff, but I think as players, kind of keep everybody on track together. It's not one group or one guy. It's we're all in this thing together.